Welcome to the explainer. You know that feeling when your AI assistant just doesn't get you? It feels so stubborn, right? Well, today we're diving into some fascinating new research that finally explains why that happens, and it offers a really cool solution.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're talking to an AI assistant or using a recommendation engine, and it just feels like it's not learning at all. No matter how many times you tell it what you like, it just seems totally stuck in its ways. And here's the thing, it's not just you. It's not in your head. Scientists have figured out there's a fundamental reason for this. It turns out that a lot of these off-the-shelf large language models, LLMs, have this hidden flaw. They're just not very good at updating what they think they know based on new info they get from you.
So, how did they figure this out?
Well, to really prove it, researchers came up with this really simple but kind of brilliant experiment.
Okay, so what they did was create this little flight recommendation game. The setup in this: an AI assistant has to recommend one of three flights to a user. But here's the catch. It has to figure out the user's hidden preferences, like maybe they secretly care most about price or having fewer stops. And it has to do this over 5 rounds, just by watching what the user picks. The AI starts totally blind. It has to learn as it goes.
So in one corner, you've got all the standard LLMs. Think Gemma, Llama 3, GPT-4. And in the other corner, they put them up against something they called a Bayesian assistant. Now, this thing is the gold standard. It's like the perfect reasoner. It uses pure logic and probability to update its beliefs with every single choice the user makes. So, how did our everyday AIs do against this perfect ideal? Well, the results were not great. They were actually pretty shocking. While the perfect Bayesian assistant got better and better with every round, the standard LLMs just flatlined. Seriously, their accuracy barely improved at all after the very first interaction. It's like they took one look, made a guess, and then just stopped paying attention. Okay, so this points to a really big problem, right? These LLMs just don't seem to have this kind of reasoning skill built in. But that leads to the really important question. If they can't do it naturally, can we teach them how? And that's where things get really interesting. So the researchers came up with this brand new training method they call Bayesian teaching. And the core idea is genius. Instead of just training the AI on the final correct answer, they trained it to mimic the entire thought process of that perfect Bayesian reasoner. That means it learns from the ideal model's educated guesses, even its uncertain ones, right from the beginning. Think about it like this. The standard way of training an AI, which is sometimes called oracle teaching, is kind of like memorizing the answer key for a test. Sure, you'll get those specific questions right, but you haven't actually learned how to solve the problems. Bayesian teaching, though, is like having a great teacher walk you through the method. They're not just giving you the answer, they're teaching you how to think so you can solve any problem that comes your way.
All right, so that's the theory. But did this new teaching style actually work? Let's take a look at the proof.
Oh yeah, it worked. The improvement was huge. Just look at this. The models that went through Bayesian teaching, they actually learn now. They get better over time, just like that perfect reasoner did. Their performance shoots up over the 5 rounds, which is a complete turnaround from that flat line we saw before.
And we can actually put a number on it. How effective was this? Well, the newly taught AIs started to think so much like the ideal reasoner that their predictions matched up about 80% of the time. That's incredible. They didn't just learn a new trick, they learned a new way of reasoning. Okay, so this is all great for a little flight booking game, but let's be real. That's not the end goal here. The big question, the million-dollar question is, does this new skill actually transfer to other situations? Could an AI taught to reason about flights apply that same logic to something totally different, like, I don't know, booking a hotel or even messy, real-world online shopping? And the answer is a huge, resounding yes. It totally works. These fine-tuned models took their new reasoning skills and applied them everywhere. They worked on more complex flight tasks, they aced a completely new hotel recommendation task, and they even handled a messy, real-world web shopping scenario. But maybe the most impressive part? It even worked with actual unpredictable human beings. And let's face it, we humans are not always perfectly logical. We're messy, we're inconsistent. But even with all that unpredictability, the Bayesian-taught AI could still figure us out. It still learned and adapted. And this really gets to the heart of the discovery. What they've shown is that you can teach an LLM to copy the perfect reasoning of a simple model. And in doing so, it learns a general skill. A skill it can then take and apply to the super complex, messy real world, where building one of those perfect models from scratch would be basically impossible. It's a really powerful idea.
So all of this leaves us with a really big thought to chew on. What if the future of AI isn't just about cramming them with more and more data? Maybe the next huge leap forward won't come from just feeding them the entire internet again, but from finding smarter, better ways to actually teach them how to think.